his heart. And I knew then why he was the king of the Polynesian. I mean, this man had a heart as big as the earth. He was incredibly sensitive to all life everywhere. And I understood so much in that moment. We left after that. Our job was done. We had finished what we had to do on that island, and we went back to our various places and prepared to leave. We went back a day or so later to our different countries all over the world, back to different places, many, many different places around the world. And I came back here to Sedona, to Arizona. The next morning, one of the people that was in there, Carolina, went up early in the morning of the next morning and took a photograph. An impossible photograph was taken. She showed this photograph from about 30 feet away, and there was the medicine wheel, the shells and everything on the ground, and floating directly above it was a 5-pointed star that was a very bright white light that the camera could pick up very, very easily. It was actually more like a 5-pointed, like a starfish. The points were rounded. We then got some pictures that were taken 3 weeks later, where people had gone over and the waves had come in and washed it, and you could see the objects were scattered all over the place, but the star was still floating there 3 weeks later, which was still amazing. And then we got a call from Papa Mataru the following day later. Moorea is an island shaped like a heart, and around it is a heart-shaped coral reef, and in there is some of the cleanest, most beautiful water in the world, and it was filled with fish. It looked like, it really, really did. It looked like an aquarium. When I was there in 1985, I was spending 6 hours a day in this water swimming through these fish, and you just swim right through them. And so when we were there this time, I had 2 of my children there, and I was so excited to bring them into the water to show them all these fish. And I said, "Oh, you won't believe this. It's so incredible." We got on our fins and our masks, we jump in the water, and there's no fish. You'd see maybe 2 or 3 30 feet away, and you'd see another 2 or 3 over here, but it was just open. They were gone. And, well, according to Papa Mataru, about 15 years ago, they all died, and they just disappeared. Well, the next morning, according to Papa Mataru, the entire bay that we were in there, for the first time in 15 years, was filled with these tropical fish. And for him, that was the sign from Mother Earth and from all of their people that what we had done on that day before, that the birthing of the thing, was correct, it was true, and it had actually taken place. And so I was excited. I mean, to hear this, to see this, and to know this. And so when I got back to Sedona, to these red rocks, and I thought everything was completed. But in my meditations, both with my inner guidance and with Mother Earth, actually, it became clear that there was more to do. I didn't really understand what it was, but it has to do with time. The timing of a human birth is that it takes about 9 months for it to grow big enough where it can come out and be born. And when it does come out to be born, that may take anywhere from a half an hour to an hour or even longer for the baby to come out. But this is very similar. When this consciousness grid is born, it's similar in the sense of how life is born, but it takes 13,000 years instead of 9 months for it to be born, so there's a big difference in time. And instead of an hour or so to be born, it takes 1 lunar cycle. It takes 27-point-something days for it to go all the way from grounding to come out and be totally born. And so they told me I had to do one more ceremony here, which we did not very far away from where we're sitting right now. And what was so interesting in that one, which just completely blew my mind, was we did the ceremony very far away from where we're sitting right now. And what was so interesting in that one, which just completely blew my mind, was we did the ceremony, and we were finishing up the ceremony, and just as we were finishing up the ceremony, the sun, the moon, the earth lined up in a straight line. Another lunar eclipse happened, and it went right over Sedona and right over exactly where I was sitting. Nobody could have ever planned that. I just was speechless for a long time about this. But this has nothing to do with human beings. This is planetary. This is planets and suns and stars, and this is much bigger than any of us. And they move in ways that are precise. And so, after that ceremony was on, it was now completed. There is one little piece that I will like to tell you, and then you will understand, I think, how important this is to you, as well as everyone that you know and everyone on this planet. The last thing I would like to say to you has to do with Melchizedek consciousness. What we know is that when a grid or a planet has this kind of experience where the grid is born, prior to the actual birth, everything could be lost. The whole thing could be lost. And so if it happens, that race that's on that planet has to start all over again. They have to begin from the beginning and go back out. And it's not a good thing. It could be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years for them to return to that particular moment again. But what we also know is that when a grid is born, it's actually become alive, it's connected to the earth, and it's functioning, there has never been a single incident in all life everywhere from the beginning of creation until now that it has not gone all the way. And so what we see, that when we see this take place, which took place in February of 2008, that this is, we have made it as a human race. We are going to go on to the next level of consciousness. It's not a maybe anymore. We know for sure. And so this is a fantastic moment in life for us to celebrate, except that most people don't understand it yet. Cosmic time is so slow. From February 2008 until now means this baby is not 2 years old. It's about a minute old. It's brand new. And so what is about to unfold in the future will come very soon, probably, and according to the Mayans and all the rest of the tribes, this will happen between now and the late in 2015, and nobody knows when. And I don't think anybody knows when, actually. I don't care who they are, because only Mother Earth knows the truth of that situation. But we have made it. And so for you who are watching this, understand that you have made it. You are going to go to another level of consciousness beyond your wildest dreams. It will happen. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for having trust in yourself and believing in yourself and having the courage to continue in spiritual work. Even though against all odds, I know your families have probably tried to stop you and everything else because it doesn't make sense in the normal world. But thank you so much for everything that you have done in your life to bring this into reality. And all of us, we're going to be together on another level of existence very soon, and at which point we will meet in another way. So thank you from my heart to your heart. Thank you for your lives, and thank you for everything that you have done in your lives.